Kenneth Montoya, and Kenny, as I refer to him, is a deputy city attorney with the Salem City, with the city of Salem. So he's in the attorney's office there. He's been there 4 years. I first met him when he was a law student at Lewis and Clark. Before that, he graduated from Cal State University in Bakersfield, and he's a Marine Corps veteran, having served 4 years in the Marine Corps. He's going to talk to you about exhibits and objections, and then we'll do our demonstration period before lunch. Mr. Montoya?
Yeah.
Hear me with this? Yeah, I can just talk loud. That's easier. When very briefly he asked me to come speak to you, he said I had 15 minutes to talk. We'll see. I'm a trial lawyer, so generally I talk anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes is just getting warmed up, but I will hit some high points for you. Exhibits. Anybody tell me why exhibits are important? How many of you have smartphones with you? Put your hands up. Come on. How many of you have smartphones? Let's see. All right. How many of you, and you don't have to put your hands up for this one, how many of you during the course of this last couple of days have actually checked your smartphones when you were supposed to be listening to something that's being said? People are visual, and people learn by seeing and by hearing. There's been some studies that have shown that those of you that are listening to me are going to get a percentage of what I say, but if I hand you a document and then talk about what is in that document, you're going to, 80% of you will hear and grasp it fully versus the lower percentage that will just hear what I say. In addition to it being a valuable persuasive tool, how many of you know that when the jury goes into the jury room, I don't get to go with them? Anybody know that? Come on, you guys can't be that hungry yet. I do not get to go in with the jury. Jury goes in there, I'm done talking, we're sitting out front waiting for the jury to come back. The exhibit, however, goes with them. They get to review that exhibit. Now here's why that's important. I told you a couple seconds ago that not everybody hears everything that's being said. So what you can have is a 12-person jury. I could say X. This juror could write down on their notes that I said X. This juror might write down that I said Y. Any of you ever play that telephone game when you were a kid? Okay, that's why that happens. People, maybe they were paying attention to the first part of what I said but didn't hear the last part. So they write down something wrong. So they go back into the jury room and this one starts arguing, he said this. No, I wrote down he said that. And everybody's trying to, well, what did he say? Geez, he spoke at us for 2 stinking hours and that was in minute 1. What did he say? The exhibit shows very clearly X. So that's in the jury room to kind of settle the disputes. Exhibits are huge. They can make or break your case, especially if they're good. One of the things we're going to show you here very briefly is a brief demonstration of how to introduce stuff. I'm going to kind of, before we do the demo, I want to give you some practical tips. Do not wait until you're going to introduce the exhibit to do a couple of very simple things. First, figure out your path. I know that sounds goofy, but in trials you can have banker boxes, you can have briefcases, you can have all kinds of people sitting near or around counsel table. Know which way you're going to walk. It sounds dumb, but you don't want to go and then stumble over something and look bad. You just don't want to do that. Recognize your own mannerisms. One of the things of my profession that I'm proudest of is we are fiercely honest. We have to be. We're officers of the court. But in addition to being honest with the court and honest to the jury, we have to be honest with ourselves and know our own shortcomings. I can tell you One of my biggest issues is that when I'm in front of a group of people, if I hold a piece of paper for very long, it starts to shake. It will sooner or later. I don't mean it to, it just happens. And so I know that when I'm going to hand something to the witness, I know that I move very quickly with my hands. And I move very quickly with my hands so you can't see that I'm shaking when I go to hand it to you. That's knowing myself. Now, I ignored my own advice, didn't pay attention to which way I was going. And it detracted from what I was saying, right? I start talking and I'm not paying attention, this goes over, and we've got a problem. Another practical tip. When you are going to introduce the exhibit, and we're going to go through the way they want you to do it precisely. But I want you, at one point, I'm going to ask if I can approach the witness. Be prepared for a no. You shouldn't get one here, but be prepared if the judge says no. And here's how you prepare for that. Have a copy of the exhibit in your hands for you. You're going to have the exhibit for the witness. That's going to go with the jury. You're going to have a copy of the exhibit for opposing counsel. Keep an extra copy for you. Because what can happen, and I learned really good when I screw up, this happened to me. Federal District Court down in Eugene, I'm trying a case. I asked the court, Your Honor, may I approach a witness? Ready to go. I've got my little speech all made. He said, no, you may not. Oh, crap, now what do I do? Well, I give the exhibit to the court clerk, who then takes it up to the witness. Well, that's the only copy I had. So then it's like, well, okay, and guess what? You wing it. But my point is, keep a copy of the exhibit so that you are looking at it and you're ready to go so you can ask your questions without having to try and wing it like I did, okay? So, those are just some really simple basic tips. Now, do you want, there he is. Yeah, sorry. And use these?
Sure.
Okay.
Want a judge? Justice Peterson, will you play the role of the judge? Yeah. And we need a closing counsel.
Now, you guys can all see that I have an exhibit. This is the one that's going to go to the witness. This is the one that's going to go into the jury room. In addition to that, also in my hands, I've got a copy for opposing counsel of each of the exhibits I intend to bring into court, and I've got my own copy, so we're ready. Have them organized. Have them organized in the order in which you're going to introduce them so that you're not fumbling. The chief told you earlier about being a guide to the jury. You want to look eminently prepared, and you want to be the guide, the one that always is on top of your game and isn't fumbling and stumbling to get through something. Because the jury is going to look as to who they can trust. You want to be that person. All right, you ready? Oop. Your Honor, may I approach bench?
Yes, Mr. Montoya.
I am handing the clerk what has been marked as exhibit number 1, and have provided opposing counsel with a copy of the same. Yeah, this is a little odd. I haven't seen this. Thank you. Your Honor, may I approach a witness?
Yes.
Your Honor, this is odd. Your Honor, may I show Exhibit 1 to Mr. Cervantes?
Yes.
Mr. Cervantes, can you please identify Exhibit number 1 for the court?
Yes, those are photographs of the nasty burns that I received from the coffee cup.
Thank you. Your Honor, the plaintiff at this time offers Exhibit 1 into evidence. The authenticity has been stipulated by the parties.
Any objection, Ms. Hill?
No objection at this time, Your Honor.
Exhibit is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, that's it.
You want a recess?
Sure. Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. I would like a recess.
I think that concludes this demonstration.
If I could have 2 minutes to follow up on everything I did wrong.
Sure. Oh, no, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. No, thanks, Judge. All right. Can anybody tell if I was prepared or not to go up and hand all those exhibits? Anybody think I was? No, not remotely. Remember what I said earlier. You want to map this out. When you are getting prepped up, you want to get to the courtroom. You want to look and make sure that everything that you are going to try and offer is ready. Now, if you've got video, if you've got pictures that you're going to use on a blow-up screen, some of the courtrooms, they call them Elmos. I have no idea what that stands for, so don't ask me. But if you're going to do that, you darn well better make sure the thing works. Now, if that means you get your backside to the courtroom at 7 o'clock in the morning, so be it, or get there the night before. What you do not want to do is go fumbling and bumbling through it, as I did there.
And everybody should have this sheet in front of them.
Your Honor, may I approach the bench? Your Honor, I'm handing the clerk what has been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit number 1. And a copy has been provided to opposing counsel.
That's fine.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
And Your Honor, may I show Plaintiff's Exhibit number 1 to the witness?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Cervantes, I am showing you what has been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit number 1. Can you identify that for the court, please, sir?
Yes, that's a photo of the excruciating painful burns I received from the defendant's defective coffee cup.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, the plaintiff offers Exhibit 1 into evidence. The authenticity has been stipulated by the parties.
The document is received. Exhibit 1 is received.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Montoya, we just used a word that was new to our students, stipulation. Could you explain that to me?
Absolutely, Your Honor. Believe it or not, lawyers actually agree with each other. In fact, a whole lot of what you just saw would have been agreed to before we got into the room. And it's called by stipulation. And so a lot of the stuff that goes into a trial, we get together before and say, will you agree to this, will you agree to that? And so stipulated means we do agree to it. And you saw in your pleadings there's some stuff that was stipulated too. Did you all see that?
That's on page 8.
Thank you, Your Honor. So it's a really good idea in trial work. It makes for a whole bunch smoother trial if we stipulate and agree to certain things, especially ones where there really is no argument about. Thank you.
Let's all give Mr. Montoya a hand. Thank you, Kenny, very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.